Hi there, welcome to the Bradbury Young channel and welcome to my Friday sews. Well, what have I been doing this week? Not too much. That seems to be typical of me. I'm not very quick at getting things done. But one thing I have managed to do is make a little bag. I say little, it's quite big actually. It's this big thing. Now what I decided to do was to make a bag because I needed a bag for a certain purpose, which I'll explain in a moment. But I had this material and I decided, yeah, I can make a bag out of that. And it really is simple. What this is it's like a Christmas mat thing that you'd buy. It's a really long one and you'd put it on the table at the festive time. And during that period you can put lots of food on because it's really long. You could not mark the table, but I thought, yeah, what can I do with that? I bought it cheap in a store and thought, well, I can use that for something, and this is exactly what it's got used for. Something useful. Let me just get my tape measure out. Now this thing actually it's about 35 centimetres or about 14 inches in width, but the length, just measure this bit, it's about 46 centimetres or about 18 inches, but it's a lot longer than that. It's 4 times that, because what I did is I basically brought it down, looped it up and back down and then up again. So I made, you know, like a W, and then just stuck it all together with this like white heavy duty binding stuff or whatever it might be, because as you can see it opened up in the middle. That's so I effectively created 2 pockets together and then just put 2 handles on it, and that's literally all it is. Just one long piece of material that I folded up and turned into a bag. So that was really simple to do. I suppose if you wanted to make something like this, it doesn't have to be this size, just whatever material you've got. It just has to be really long. I know, something like a cotton canvas or something that's sort of fairly heavyweight. Now, being such a heavyweight item, I did have to hand sew this. So what I did is, once I got the size together, put some pins in, and then I just tacked along the sides before I put this like binding tape. I think this is meant to be like stuff you use on a hem. If you're turning a hem up and you want to, you got on a, you know, a long heavy skirt and you want to make sure it stays steady. I think it's that type of stuff. But I used it on the edge here to tidy up the sides, to keep it neat and all together, and I also used it for the handles, to just 2 basic handles just put on the top. So that is extremely simple but very useful, and the reason for having it is because of my knitting that I've been doing. So let's have a look. What have I been doing knitting wise? Now, I have been practicing my knitting that I'd taken up not too long ago, and what I've made so far, besides just the basic swatches that I've been practicing on, is effectively well, this. And well, what is this? Effectively it's just one ball of wool that I was using to practice my tension, and I actually got to the point that I was finding that I just couldn't get anything to go right, and I was struggling with knitting it. So I watched a couple of videos and realised that I was over tensioning it. It was making it very difficult to knit. So I sat down and just started to put some rows on, stitch some rows, and just use up a ball of wool and just continuously practice getting that tension right. And at the beginning, which is down here, this bit looks a bit rough. And it is, and then it seemed to be at about here the tension started to come in quite well, and I was getting it right. So I just continued until I'd used the whole ball of wool up, and I thought, well, what can I do with that? Is it long enough for a scarf? Maybe, not really. And I thought, well, if I stitch the ends together, you can use it for one of those things, you know, you put it round your neck. I'll take my glasses off, let's see if I can give it a go. You know what I mean? So when it's cold, it just sits round my neck and cover my face with it. So yeah, that's what I can use it for. I don't know what these things are called, but you know, I know you can buy them, and some of them are very expensive. But yeah, my practice piece has become a neck warmer. So there you go. And I know it's still summertime technically, or just at the end of it, but I imagine it won't be too long before it suddenly starts to feel quite cold. So my practice piece has actually come in useful. So I'm glad I did that, and it's certainly helped me to understand how to keep my tension when I'm actually doing my knitting. Now for me, it's been a bit of a slow week. To be honest, I've not been feeling particularly positive about things. My I don't know, my motivation's been a bit gone, I suppose. A bit like the saying, my get up and go was got up and gone. So I haven't really felt like doing a lot of stuff. And sometimes I think if you're feeling a bit bad or a bit down, it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's great to just take that emotion, have a sit down and just reflect on what you're doing and just reflect on what you'd like to change. And after a while you can think, well, I can change that, or I can change this, or I can go and do something different, and then go and do it. And that's what I tend to do, and put aside all the other things that I'm trying to do or want to be doing, and just say, okay, let's just go with this instead. And generally tends to feel a bit more positive after that, of which one of the wild things I decided to do was make an item. Well, yeah. Now the item in question is a project I've been working on. It is the Simplicity 8186, the wrap dress and slip dress that I've been working on and not been getting on very well with. Motivation there had been really low for doing that, and I decided, let's just make it out of something else. Let's just go wild and just bodge something together and just see how it comes out. Why not? I've got nothing to lose, so that's exactly what I've done. And if you might remember from last week, I was looking at that dog tooth or hound's tooth material. That's obviously a polyester. It's extremely slippery, it's very sheer and utter swine to work with. And I decided I'm going to make something out of it. I'm going to make that wrap dress out of this. So that's exactly what I did, just to go wild, just to see what would happen. And as you can see, I have a wrap dress. I'm not really sure that it is. Let me explain about it. I decided when I started putting this together, I thought, well, I've got this really sheer material that's terrible to work with. That's going to be a right pain in the backside. How am I going to finish this off? How am I going to make it come together and not just fall apart or sit like a bag of spuds, really, you know? So what I decided was to effectively make it twice. Effectively what I've done is I've made the pattern up twice, but one is actually the call it a lining. So the idea came from doing my actual waistcoat project, this thing, which isn't finished yet, but I'll get there, don't worry. And I realised that if I lined it, then I got two layers that help stop that looking so sheer, as this is very sheer. But of course that was completely out of the bounds of what the instructions say. There's nothing in the instruction would prepare me to be able to make this the way I have done. So the instructions, well, no help at all. So effectively all I've done is taken the pattern pieces and put it together the way I wanted. But what I've ended up with is this sort of like wrap dress. Now it is quite short, as you can see, very short. And the reason for that is partly because of material restrictions, but also I didn't want it too long and having to mess about with it. This stuff is awful enough to work with as it is. But what I've ended up with is, it's, well, more like an apron, a wrap apron. So something I can put on top of another item of clothing, and it will stop it getting messy, I suppose. So there you go, a sort of wrap apron, as you were, or could sort of think of it as. And yeah, I do like it. It has come out quite well, considering all the hard work that goes into putting something like this together, just for the sheer fact that this material is so difficult to work with. The pattern itself is very, very simple, so I think that's why it was so manipulative, who knows. It was easier to work into the way that I wanted to do it. So yeah, I'm really quite glad I've taken the challenge and actually done it, because I ended up with a wearable mock-up almost, because it's given me an idea of how I can do other things. But yeah, I do like it. It's come out quite nice. I put these big tie pieces on. These are like, I don't know what this is from, but it's like a velvety feel. There's another tie here. As you see, it just ties up, nice and simple. Just drop it off. But yeah, it's a very sheer material. It sort of hangs and drapes all over the place. But yeah, a wrap apron, I suppose you could call that. Came out quite well, and I'm really quite pleased. I gave it a go. The challenge was just to see if I could make it happen. And you know what? I have done, and that's a really positive thing. It makes me feel more confident about getting back with the main project. Now, last week I asked for some feedback and some comments on my channel, and first of all I'd like to say thank you to everybody that commented. Your comments were very constructive and thought-provoking, and I've taken a lot on board from what people have said and what you've mentioned, suggested. So going on from that, I have decided to make a little bit of a change, but nothing really major. Basically, what I'm going to do is, on the Friday, I'll be doing a Friday sews, but that'll be every week, because what I have been doing before is trying to do a Friday sews and then a make video, and sometimes I've not felt that I'm able to do that very well. So doing the Friday sews is like doing a catch-up. It's a nice catch-up video and a way for you folks to be able to give me a comment, put a question to me, talk amongst yourselves within the comments as well, if you'd like. I mean, it's all about the community of sewing, so please feel free to put comments and to comment with each other within those comments. It's all very helpful for everybody that is doing the sewing and also trying to learn, or just has an interest in what we're talking about. So that is always very helpful. So each Friday will be a Friday sews, and then what I intend to do is maybe once a month, or however long it takes for that to come along, I'll do a make video. The hope there is that what I'll manage to do is spend a bit more time on the make, one, making the item, and two, doing the video. So hopefully it'll be a better video and a better garment hopefully at the end of it as well. And that will be, I'm certainly hoping that'll be more interesting, because I won't feel like I'm rushing it or trying to rush to get a video done or something like that. So I'm giving myself more chance to make better content, but basically the content won't change. It'll be the same content, but just better, hopefully. I certainly will try, and hopefully it'll be better. But that's really the only sort of change I'm going to do for now. As I say, the content itself will remain the same. The Friday sews will still be a catch-up and a chance to have a chat, and for you guys to put your comments in. So really, that's all there is for this week, and I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to comment, please do. Click that like button if you have liked this video, and subscribe, because then you'll get notification of when my videos are coming out. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!